Hey everybody, today I'm making chicken and dumplings, and I'm going to make my dumplings ahead of time. I'm not going to cook them today. I have company coming and I don't want all of this flour and utensils and stuff in my kitchen when they come, so I like to make mine ahead of time and freeze them. And that's what I'm going to show you today, how I make my dumplings and how I freeze them so that when my company comes, all I have to do is take them out of the freezer, warm up my broth, and put them in there and cook them, and they will be delicious. I'll put the recipe on here for you so that you can see that, but I'm just using 2 cups of all-purpose flour, which is plain flour. I'm using 1/3 of solid shortening and about 1 cup of buttermilk, and I have a rolling pin here. So let's get started so we can pre-make our dumplings and be able to spend more time with our family and friends when they get here. The first thing that we're going to do is to combine our flour, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, with 1/3 of solid shortening. Now, I have on some gloves, and those of you who watch me regularly know that when I'm working with certain foods or certain ingredients, I like to wear gloves because it doesn't stick to my hands and I can just handle it and work with it so much easier. So I'm just incorporating the shortening with the flour, using my fingers to kind of blend it together, and it will kind of have a mealy or a coarse feel to it. Now, I may keep these gloves on the entire time as I'm working, making the dumplings, or I may pull them off at some point. I just kind of guess how and when I need to use that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pull them off so that I can continue with the process. So there we have it. Now I'm going to add my buttermilk. I'm going to start with about 3/4 of a cup and just stir this around. You want your dumplings to be thicker, or you don't want them to be sticky like you want your biscuits to be. You want them to be soft and have just a little bit of stick to them. But just mixing it all together. This doesn't take very long. It's so easy, it's so quick, and I love having it done ahead of time, like I said, before my children and my grandchildren get here, because they live out of town and I treasure every minute that I can spend with them. So next, I didn't use quite all of the buttermilk. I may add some more, but for right now it's fine. So now I'm going to take some flour and just sprinkle it on my non-stick pad. And I'm going to half my dough. I'm just going to use half of it at the time, or roll half of it at the time. Just putting it on my pad, and next I'm going to flour my hands and sprinkle some on top. So now I'm just going to knead it like you would if you were making biscuits. Just kind of incorporate the flour so that it'll be stiff. That was the word I was looking for a while ago. I couldn't find it. It just wouldn't come. Sometimes that happens, doesn't it? So you want this to be stiff, like if you were making fried pies, or in this case that you're making dumplings. You want to be able to lift it up when you cut it. When you cut your dumplings. So this will be so good. This is a favorite of my families. They love, love, love chicken and dumplings. Okay. That's feeling pretty good. So we're going to try it. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more flour. We don't want it to stick. And I'm also going to put some flour on my rolling pin. And now I'm just going to start rolling. I could come up with a little jingle song with this, like my Sharon does when she crafts. It's say, roll, 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 roll that dough, roll that dough. You can tell I can't sing, but it helps to pass the time, doesn't it? And you want it thin. Or I like my dumplings thin. Some people might like theirs a little bit thicker. Okay, now I'm going to take this pizza cutter. You could use a knife to cut your dumplings. So I'm just going to start here and cut like that. So quick, so easy. Now, I like my dumplings kind of long, so I'm just going to cut it one time. Now, how am I going to freeze these dumplings? I have a cookie sheet here, and I have placed a piece of parchment paper on top of it. So what I'm going to do is to take this little spatula that I have here, and I'm going to lift up my dumpling, and I'm going to place it on the parchment paper. Let me see if I can bring this around here so that you can see it. So I'm going to pick up a dumpling. It's hard to hold this and show you, but this is what I'm going to do. This is my process for freezing dumplings. So what I will do is to put all of the dumplings on this, and I would put them closer if I was using two hands, but I'm trying to show you exactly what I'm doing. Once I get this filled, then I will place another piece of parchment paper on top, and I'll continue placing my dumplings on top until I have rolled them all out and cut them all, and then I'll put them in the freezer and let them freeze. Once I do that, I'll come back and show you exactly how I freeze dumplings and place them in the freezer. Okay, our dumplings are ready to go in the freezer. I had 2 layers, and I put another piece of parchment paper. I rolled the rest of the dough out, and I cut it, and if you need more, you can just double the recipe. Now, I ran out of parchment paper, so I just cut a piece of wax paper, and I'm just going to lay that on top, and now this is ready to go in the freezer. When it freezes, I'll come back and we'll take it apart and put it in a Ziploc bag, or it could go into any type of airtight container and stick it back in the freezer, and there you have it. Dumplings ready to cook when you get ready to cook them. Okay, our dumplings have been in the freezer for a while, and you can tell that they are frozen. I can just pick them up like this. So I'm just going to take my hands and just kind of rake all of these on this top sheet together like this. And I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to use my parchment paper that I had, that I've already used. I don't want to waste it. And I'm just going to fold it in quarters like that, and I'm going to cut it. And that's what I'm going to use to separate my frozen dumplings with. So let me just do this real quickly, and I'll show you how we're going to finish them up and store them in the freezer. I've already prepared a bag, and I wrote on there, ready to cook dumplings. So here we go. And also, after I stack mine, I like to put them, I like to wrap them in plastic wrap. So I'm just going to cut this off just like that. And I'm going to put one piece of the parchment paper down. So now I'm going to take my dumplings, and I'm just going to place them like this, and I'll work as quickly as I can because they'll start melting on you, or getting soft. They're thawing. That's the word I'm looking for. They'll start thawing. So then I'm going to, I hope you can see this, use another piece of parchment paper. And I'm just stacking them. And this is kind of like they package them if you buy frozen dumplings. And the reason that you want to separate them is because when they start thawing, they'll start sticking together. And so you want the paper to be there so that they will be separated and they won't stick together when they start thawing. So now I'm down to the bottom layer, and I'm going to do the same thing with this parchment paper. I'm not wasting any parchment paper. I'm just folding it like this. I'm going to cut it using my scissors right here, just real quickly, and I'll cut it again and again. Okay, so here we go. We're just placing our dumplings, separating them, and I have them all thumbs finishing up this project with you. That's interesting, isn't it? Oh. And then we'll put another one, and we'll continue placing our dumplings just like that. And I will be so happy that I have these dumplings already made, and all I have to do is to heat my good broth and bring it to a rolling boil and drop my dumplings in there, and then we'll have some very, very delicious dumplings. So now I'm going to top it, and as I said, I certainly hope that you can see this. I'm going to fold this over just like that. Okay, so see how neatly packed that is? And I like to use another one. So I'm just going to set this aside. I'm going to get another piece of plastic wrap, and I'm going to place our dumplings. This plastic wrap, it'll crinkle up on you in a heartbeat, won't it? I think I'll do it this way because I need to cover the ends. I'll bring it this way. I'll bring it this way. Fold it up. And there I have my dumplings ready to put in the freezer. Now, I've prepared a plastic bag and I have ready to cook dumplings. So let me just open it up, place them in here, and ta-da! There you go. Ready to cook dumplings. Okay, folks, that's all I have today. But I do have some very delicious ready to cook dumplings that are going to be delicious when I cook them. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen today. Thank you for helping me to make these dumplings to have ready when my company comes. I hope that you'll use the same process to prepare yours ahead of time so you don't have to be in the kitchen and make all that mess when you've got guests in the house. Have a blessed day. Don't forget to share my video. We're on Facebook and YouTube. I love you, and I'll see you again really, really soon.